Get her!
The furious screams echoed around Violet as she crossed the finish line for her 8th lap. Just 2 more to go.
Oh, God.
She gasped, but barely had time to breathe before icy water slammed into her from all sides. It felt like standing under a raging waterfall, the force of the water almost knocking her off her feet. Just as she feared, Autumn Carson was out for blood after that little stunt. And Autumn didn't roll solo. The pure-blooded werewolf and her loyal posse aimed their hoses at Violet, blasting her with freezing water while ignoring everyone else. Violet figured the other runners were probably thanking their lucky stars they weren't her. She was getting the brunt of it. Where'd they even get so many hoses? But that was the least of her worries. The icy spray was relentless, coming from every direction. Violet could barely see, water choking her as it went up her nose. A dull pressure filled her ears, muffling all other sounds. It was like the whole world had shrunk down to this icy, blinding torrent. But Violet fought back. She pushed through the onslaught, her body screaming with exhaustion, refusing to give in. She wouldn't let Autumn win, not like this. She knew if she fell now, things would get way worse. Autumn and her crew would probably drown her if they had the chance. Finally, Violet broke free, stumbling to a stop, gasping for air. She looked like a drowned rat, her hair plastered to her head in wet, tangled clumps. Her training gear clung to her, dripping water and outlining every curve. She shivered, grateful she'd worn a bra. As if on cue, a whistle pierced the air from the elite sidelines. One of the werewolves was staring at her, his eyes raking over her soaked body. Violet's stomach churned with disgust. But the guy's attention was short-lived. A blur of motion, and before Violet could blink, Asher slammed into him, his fist connecting with the werewolf's face in a brutal punch. The sickening thud echoed across the field, silencing everyone. A few other werewolves who'd been eyeing Violet like she was a piece of meat quickly backed off as Asher punched the guy again. Apparently, the psycho had decided Violet was his project, since this was the second time he'd fought her battles today. What the hell? Violet was stunned. What was Asher doing? He couldn't just go around punching every guy who looked at her. This was exactly the kind of attention she was trying to avoid. Now, everyone would think they were a thing. Great. What do you think you're staring at? Want me to pluck out those eyes and feed them to you? Asher snarled, his voice dripping with rage.
No! Alpha, Asher!
The unfortunate werewolf whimpered. But you do have to admit, she's quite a sight, a voice chuckled. Violet's eyes met Roman Draven's. Just like the unfortunate werewolf, Roman also gave her body a once-over. But instead of Asher launching a flurry of punches at him, he merely growled a warning. Roman laughed, completely unfazed. So Alice had been right. Roman was the only cardinal alpha Asher could tolerate. Almost immediately, Violet's eyes met Asher's, and even with his glasses, she could sense the brewing storm. The intensity of his gaze made her stomach twist, with a mix of fear and excitement. He both thrilled and scared her, a weird combo. What are you waiting for, little purple? Asher taunted, his voice dark and almost sinister. Why aren't you running? Or do you need me to chase you? A shiver ran down her spine. Hell no. Violet didn't need to be told twice. She took off, sprinting like her life depended on it. She could hear Asher's mocking laughter behind her, but she refused to look back. She wasn't giving him a reason to chase her. Not now, not ever. She was going to finish this race, no matter what. Focused on the finish line, Violet ran past Hazel Sterling, her roommate. The once perfect Hazel now looked like a hot mess, sweaty and disheveled. Just like Violet, she'd fallen victim to the water attack. Though not as soaked as Violet, she still looked rough. And judging by her stumbling run, she was about to collapse. "It's none of my business," Violet told herself. Hazel was too proud and hated her guts, so why should she care? Yet, as Violet saw Hazel stumble and fall out of the corner of her eye, she groaned and turned back. This stupid, kind heart of hers was going to get her into trouble one day. She just knew it. Violet slowed her pace as she approached Hazel Sterling, who was struggling to get back on her feet. The scene was pretty funny, to be honest. Violet kind of wished she could watch it all day. But she was on a mission. Hazel's exhaustion was obvious. Her pride bruised along with her body. Violet could see the frustration etched on her face. After all, Hazel was someone who usually strutted around like she owned the place. So this vulnerable display was a rare sight. She probably hated that Violet was seeing her like this. "Get up," Violet grumbled, annoyance lacing her tone. Violet didn't want to be there, helping Hazel. It would have been way more satisfying to see the disgust on Hazel's face while she scrubbed toilets. That would make her day. Maybe Alice's whole be nice thing was rubbing off on her. But Hazel was her roommate, and they both needed to pass this stupid test. Sometimes you gotta be the bigger person. So Violet reached down and grabbed Hazel's arm, pulling her up despite her protests. Hazel looked shocked and irritated, like she couldn't believe Violet was helping her. "You know I don't need your help," Hazel spat, her voice shaky, totally betraying how she felt. "Sure you don't," Violet retorted, rolling her eyes. "But you look like you need it, so shut up and move." You don't understand." Hazel shrugged away from Violet's grasp. "My feet hurt, and I'm so exhausted I can't even lift a finger. Just leave me alone." Violet clicked her tongue. "You're exhausted, but you can still whine? Trust me, if you have enough energy to talk, you have enough energy to run." She sighed dramatically. But fine, if you want to quit, no problem. Enjoy scrubbing those toilets." Hazel's eyes widened, like she'd suddenly remembered the punishment. She stood up, her gaze shifting hesitantly to Violet, a slight brush creeping up her cheeks. "So how do we do this?" she asked uncertainly. "Come on, start moving. I'll teach you how to run right so you don't burn out so fast." And just like that, they started jogging, Violet in the lead. "Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Keep your breathing steady. It'll help you find a rhythm," Violet instructed. Hazel nodded, trying to follow along. "And keep a steady pace. Don't go too fast, or you'll tire out quickly," Violet added. "A steady pace saves energy. Just take it easy." Hazel watched Violet closely, mimicking her movements. She focused on staying relaxed, keeping her shoulders down, and matching Violet's stride. It was still tough. It felt like she was dying, her breath wheezing with the effort. But it wasn't as bad as before. Having someone there, showing her what to do, made it feel easier. Running alongside Violet gave her motivation to keep going. They ran side by side, almost like best friends. Almost. Deep down, they both knew this truce was temporary. Once it was over, they'd go back to hating each other. But Hazel had to admit, she disliked Violet a tiny bit less now. When they reached the finish line, Violet couldn't help but notice that no one sprayed them with water. Surprised, she quickly figured out why, or rather, who was behind it. It seemed that particular brand of hazing didn't set well with His Highness, Asher Nightshade. Someone clearly didn't like other guys checking her out. Good for him. Not that Violet cared if they stopped or not. Nothing was stopping her from finishing this race. "I don't think I can hold on," Hazel Sterling gasped, her chest burning with every ragged breath. "Hold on. We're almost there. We can make it," Violet insisted, grabbing Hazel's arm and slinging it over her shoulder. It felt like a mission impossible. Violet was already exhausted, and Hazel's added weight made her legs wobble. But she gritted her teeth, focused on the finish line, and pushed forward with pure willpower. Finally, they made it. The second they crossed the line, they collapsed on the ground, gasping for air. Sweet relief. Both were drenched in sweat, their clothes plastered to their aching bodies. Violet felt like her muscles had been put through a meat grinder. "If I didn't know any better, I think this is a military school," she muttered. Hazel burst out laughing, but it quickly dissolved into a coughing fit. Her throat was parched. She desperately wanted water, but she was too wiped out to even think about moving. Suddenly, a shadow fell over them. Violet frowned. Roman Draven stood there, a smug grin on his face. She hated that guy. There was still a score to settle between them. Roman drawled, looking down at them with fake adoration. "Haha, look at you two, all snuggled up like lovebirds. But as much as I hate to ruin this romantic moment, you've got 5 minutes to recover before we resume training. So make the most of it. Bask in each other's company. It's limited." He winked and walked past them.
To listen to the full audio series, install the Pocket FM app now.